nobody ever. I feel like I always have a hard time knowing if I'm centered or not, but I think I'm centered. Anyways, hey, what's up you guys? It's Tina back again with another video. I don't know. I just started turning the camera on. I think I have something to say. I guess I do. Let me see. Do I have something to say? Do I have something to say? Let me... Sorry, I have a lot of like whatever energy right now. Well, let me see what the universe wants to co-create with me right now. All right, I'm just gonna talk about something that has been on my mind a little bit. You know, this is like my journal entries, I guess. But lately I have been really focused on my shadow self and my ego. And I know that you guys heard me talk about it before in my other videos, how I said like, oh, I have interacted with my ego enough. The universe has let me dive into my ego enough. And what I wanted to say, what I should have said, was that the ego and your shadow side is not negative. It is not anything that is bad, okay? For those of you guys who, did I word that the right way? For those of you who don't know what the shadow side is, it's the parts of yourself that you repress and hide. Usually a lot of people have the conception like the ego is prideful, the ego is boastful. And yes, that is part of the ego. But this is what happens when you go off like your mind. Okay. I was watching a video and the YouTuber who I watched was Activation Vibration. She is so cool. If you are ready to learn more about spirituality, and if you give yourself permission to have an open mind, have an open heart to spirituality, she talks a lot about it and more in depth. She's fully committed to her spirituality and sharing it with others, and she's a great channel to watch. Activation Vibration. If you want to learn more, that is her. She talked about how you shouldn't be ashamed of your shadow self or your ego, and people can try to say in a way where it like you want to get rid of the ego and remove it completely and blah, blah, blah. But she talked about how the intentions of your ego and your shadow self is to ultimately protect you. And sometimes they do it in a very unhealthy way. And that is the part that becomes destructive, and that's the part that becomes toxic. Everyone has their own version of their best intentions. They just do things differently. When I heard that, it made me have more understanding for myself, and it removed a lot of the shame and a lot of the guilt that I had towards the past, and like, why did I do this? Why couldn't I be like this? Why did I say that in that moment? And just realizing that everything that happened in the moment was the best way that I knew how to deal with it then. Why did I say that? Okay, yes, I was thinking about that lately. I've been trying to find a better way to open up my heart and speak from a heart space and forgive myself and forgive others and whatever. You guys heard that in my other videos. In opening up my heart and with me not restricting anything that I feel, it's also learning how to accept all of the parts of me. All the parts of me that I did repress, or all the parts that I heightened or to overcompensate for something, or the love that I seek from other people to fill in a gap in me. I wanted to accept all the parts of me, even like the shadow ego stuff, because I said this before, it's like, why am I trying to hide it? Because it is a part of me. So let me actually get down to the root of whatever's going on. Let me actually try to understand what is happening when I say this or when I do this. An example that I have in my life is recently I started developing a fear of the dark, and I don't know where that came from. I remember somebody telling me like, oh yeah, I know, because you're scared of the dark. And when they said that, I was just like, whoa, I'm scared of the dark? First, I was like, that my ego wanted to protect my pride. And, you know, and I was just like, I'm not scared of the dark. I don't know what you're talking about. But then later on at night, can I turn off the lights when I sleep? No. And then, you know, the ego excuses, and the ego tries to protect my heart and try not to make me feel bad about myself. So I say, no, you're not scared of the dark. It's just the aesthetic. You love purple lights on in your room. What's wrong with that? And just trying to excuse a lot of things. That was part of the ego. Yes, when I started learning more about my shadow side and the things that I repress and the things that I keep hidden, it just seemed like it made sense to confront my fear of the dark if I was trying to learn more about my shadow self side. Why do I keep want to say that? Is that how you're supposed to say it? Your shadow self? Taking the experiences from the past, I am in a different reality now. I am no longer in that space where I can't be creative. I'm no longer in the space where I can't talk about my emotions. I'm no longer in the space where I have to be worried about the people that are around me and if they were going to take advantage of me, or if I said something that they were going to leave, or anything like that. It's detaching myself from that victim mentality, moving forward, and really staying in the present and realizing where I am now. So me learning all of that and me trying to move forward with me and my spirituality, my personal development and my growth, there's a lot of things that are unknown to me, and I'm doing things for the first time, and I haven't done anything new in a really long time. Before, I used to face a lot of my challenges, and I used to see from a headspace, so I completely neglected my emotions. If anybody remembered me from high school, on paper, I looked like a really good student. I joined all of these clubs, and I took on these leadership roles. I played a lot of sports. I took all these AP honors classes, whatever, and I just did it. I went through it and I was headstrong about it, and I didn't think about my emotions and my body or whatever. I was just like, I'm going to do this, and this is what it is, and blah, blah, blah. So I was able to persevere like that. Now that I'm trying to be more familiar with me and my emotions and my creativity and take better care of my body, I guess it's just incorporating all those parts of myself into my life now, which is new, and it's something that is unknown to me. As I kept pushing forward, I realized that that is where my fear of the dark came from. I used to never be afraid of the dark, and that made sense because I used to never fear anything. I never felt anything to fear anything. And now that I'm allowing myself to feel, I fear. But when you get more into spirituality, within you in this material, tangible earth realm world, you have 4 different bodies, and you have your intellectual body, you have your heart and emotional body, and then you have your physical body, and you have your spiritual body. And I guess that would be considered like the soul or your auric field or the energy that you emit and anything like that. So trying to incorporate and blend all of those pieces of me together and have me be a full person, it made me open up my heart to my ego and to the shadow self and to the parts that I've been hiding. It's scary. It's something new. So yes, my fear of the dark developed. As you guys know, I'm a very overly optimistic person, and sometimes it treads on delusional. But the shadow self and the ego, when I say negative, I mean like dense and low vibration, like anything that is vibrating off the frequency of hate or anger or fear. I decided to confront my anxieties and my fears and the more negative, dense, low vibration frequency parts of me. Yesterday, I went downstairs, and I live in the basement, by the way, which is already a little freaky by itself, but I'm used to it now. And I sat in my room in the dark. Yes, I just did it. I was meditating in the dark. At first, I turned off the lights and I was like, but when I was meditating, I was breathing, and I just kept saying, like, this is gonna be a little spiritual. I guess this is a lot. I don't know why I keep saying that, because spirituality is a big part of me. But I just kept saying, like, universe, collective consciousness, divine source, guardian angels, benevolent beings of love and light, ancestors, ascended masters, archangels, higher self, my intuition, any beings of love and light that want to come in, let their energy flow through me, allow me, protect me in a golden light, let me not feel this fear, remove this fear. I am not fear, I am free, I am nothing. I kept saying those things to myself, like, I'm okay. And whenever I felt my anxiety rise, I was like, it's okay. You're okay, and it is okay. And you're sitting here, and you're surrounded by love and light, and anything that isn't love and light is not allowed to enter your space, and you are protected, and you are fine. And then I slept in the dark. I slept in the dark, and I wasn't scared, and it was fine, and I felt good, and that was that. Yes. There are some parts of me that I'm ashamed of, especially when it comes to how I dealt with things in the past and how I deal with things now. And because I've lived my life so headstrong, sometimes I tend to overthink. I become emotionless. And I don't want to be emotionless. I don't want to overthink. I want to stay in the present. So I want to accept all that I am. I sat down with myself and I talked to my ego. I talked to my shadow side. I told them that I appreciated everything that they did in the past and how they dealt with things. And I understand that they held back on my creativity and my emotions because when I was a child, I did experience a lot of traumatic things, which caused me to repress a lot of my emotions and completely get rid of them. When my ego did that and when my shadow did that, they were just trying to protect me. When I was a child, my mind wasn't developed enough to understand what was going on, and all I could do was feel. So I felt as if my shadow and my ego was like, okay, well, we don't want her to, I was going to drop some big words, but I guess I'm going to say it. I'm going to be honest. We don't want her to commit suicide. So let's push away her emotions and let's distract her with sports, and let's distract her with school, and let's distract her with friends, and she will find happiness in that way. That worked until it didn't. I didn't appreciate when it did work. Like, that was the moment where I was telling myself, like, wow, sorry. It's like you feel it in the tip of your nose when you feel like you're about to cry. But yeah, I was really mean to myself. I was mean to myself a lot of the time, and I didn't appreciate why I did the things that I did in the moment and why I treated people the way that I did in the moment. When I was younger, in the household I lived in, it was very rare that we experienced like happy love emotions. So when I was able to create any relationship with anybody, I wanted to hold on to it. Because love was so rare for me to experience, I wanted to hold on to it, and I wanted to keep it, and I wanted to nurture it, and I wanted to give everybody all that I could. But I didn't understand that sometimes people don't have the energy to return. Sometimes people don't have the time and the energy to invest in you as much as you invested in them. For a long time, I really hated when I gave my energy to people, not that they didn't matter, that I gave my energy to people who could not give it back. That only made me close off my heart after I made friends. So in the timeline, I experienced a lot of traumatic things in my childhood, closed off my heart. I distracted myself with school, sports, clubs, and friends, and then opened up my heart. And then I experienced a lot of loss with friends that I thought were my lifelong friends, which made me close my heart. In that process of me being absent of love and then receiving love and then being absent of love, I found myself flip-flopping from being egotistical and then being completely selfless. The root of everything was just not giving enough love to myself. This was that experience for me and what I'm going through right now and what I am learning about. It's just filling up my own cup before I'm able to give it to everybody else. I had to tell my ego and my shadow side that, Tina, you're not a victim anymore. You don't have friends that are just going to leave. You don't have family members or people in your life that are going to take advantage of you. You have matured enough to recognize when people are good and when people are bad. Last time I tried to say that there is attractive and unattractive people, but I think it's admitting that evil does exist in this world. Negativity exists in this world. And not only does it exist, it is encouraged and accepted. I had to accept that not everybody deserves my time. Not everyone deserves my energy. Not everyone is set out to have the best intentions. It really hurts to say that when you want to believe the best in humanity, but it's the truth. I had to talk to my ego and tell them that there are good and there are bad people, but you're not going to go into situations with a closed heart. You're going to go into situations and encounter people with an open mind, with an open heart, thinking that they're innocent until proven guilty. But until then, don't close off your heart. This is not the way that we're going to do things anymore. We are going to go through situations and go through our emotions, open ourselves up to people until they prove to us that we shouldn't. It's just the process. I had to tell my ego that it is okay. There is no rush. There's no way for you to know all the answers all the time. And that was also the perfectionist in me, where I had to tell the perfectionist ego that you don't know everything. There's a lot of things that you don't know, and you shouldn't assume, and you shouldn't overgeneralize. And yes, it's good to take experience from the past, but leave it in the past. Stay in the present. Recognize the situation in the present. Recognize who you are in the present. Recognize the people that are around you in the present and focus on that. For a moment when I was getting into my emotions, I almost turned on my mind. I almost hated myself because I was such an overthinker, because I was so logical, because I was so rational, and because when I was creating art, I could feel myself like stop. Before I made anything, like, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Is this what you want to do? My emotional creative side, which was once a shadow, stepped up and said, it's okay. It is okay. And in my head, I imagined like my creative, emotional self, like pat my ego on the back, pat my mind on the back and say, it's okay. And just watch, just look, and then just go with the flow. Yes, I've also learned to be softer with myself. And I told my body how much I appreciated myself because I realized that my body has been through a lot. And for a long time, it's been there since everything. I used to have the clearest skin. I used to metabolize. Whoa. Is that what I want to say? Not metabolize. Not manifest. Molecule? Metabolize. It is metabolize! Oh my god, I doubted myself. I'm so sorry, mind. I'm so sorry. Okay, yes. I have fast metabolism. Sorry. Okay. My body used to be snatched all the time, and I used to have a fit body, and everything works. Like, if you think about it, your feet and your legs have walked you everywhere. It has moved you forward everywhere. When you are reading, even though sometimes your mind may not pay attention, your eyes, they're doing their job. They're making sure that you see the words that you're reading. It's just you and your mind that's not paying attention. Just seeing the different parts of me, different aspects of me. And I said sorry because I was going through so much emotionally and mentally, and it was very stressing. And I didn't drink enough water, and I didn't eat enough, and I wasn't nurturing my body. And it got to the point where my body was just like, this is the dialogue I imagine it having. My body was like, I can't, please, I'm losing hair, I'm gaining acne, oh crap, freak, oh shit, oh my god, I'm gaining weight, crap, oh my god, what are you doing? Oh my fuck, okay. Yes. Just telling myself, like, Tina, you're beautiful. I appreciate you so much. You're doing the best that you could. Yes, just being more patient with my body and making sure that my mind and my emotions, my physical body and my spiritual body are all on the same path and they're all aligned and they all are in this together and blah, 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 blah. And really taking care of myself and loving myself and accepting me for all that I am. All of it. I look in the mirror, there might be some acne, but I'm like, it will go away. And it is fine. We're going to go through this together and we're going to heal. We're going to take care of this. If I feel a little bloated or I have a little more weight than I would personally want, not saying that weight is bad. It's just for me and my personal preference. If I think that I have a little more weight than I need, then I'm like, you know what, Tina? You're still beautiful. You're still rocking this. But we're going to get through this together and we're going to have the healthy body that we want. Stuff like that. Me talking in my mind. When I notice that I start to overthink, a very typical situation that I feel like everyone can relate to. Let's say you match with a really cute guy on Tinder. I feel like the people on Tinder are gonna think I'm talking about them. Anyways, but when you match with a really cute guy on Tinder, sometimes you let your mind like create fantasies and make stories up in your head and saying this is gonna happen and this and this and this. And then sometimes I have to like stop myself. Like, no, Tina. Nothing happened. He only said hi. So let's just focus on that. He said hi. Let the mystery unfold. You don't have to know everything that's going on right now. Let it be. And then sometimes when I notice that I'm being too logical or rational about things, especially when I'm painting or drawing, I let my emotions come out like, you really need to speak. You really need to take over. Let it go. Let yourself shine. Do whatever you want. And just letting myself, I guess, heal my inner child, heal my inner creativity and emotions and let myself speak and let myself do whatever I want to do. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for tuning in to me and my life journey. Hopefully you guys can get anything from this and hopefully I planted like seeds of thought for you to think about. I love everybody. I hope you guys have a good morning, evening, night, wherever, whenever you are watching this. Goodbye. Mwah. Thank you.